What is going on, everyone? My name is Kevin, and in today's video we are checking out what has got to be the most underrated phone of the year. I bought the Galaxy A20s for $165. I've been using it every day for quite a while now as a replacement to my iPhone X to see if this budget phone can actually break new grounds in the budget market. The Galaxy A20s has 3 rear cameras, a large capacity battery at 4000 mAh, a 6.5-inch display, and a teardrop notch with a face unlock equipped front camera. This basically has all the main features you'd expect from a near $1,000 phone, and all this in such a low price bracket while still maintaining the headphone jack, a fingerprint reader, the dual SIM slot, and a micro SD card slot. There's not a lot of coverage in this phone, so if you appreciate what you're about to see and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's get right into the Galaxy A20s review. Starting off, I want to show you what comes in the box. We get the awesome Samsung fast charger, a shorter than usual USB-C cable, and the stock Samsung earbuds. The standard paperwork and SIM card tool is of course included, and as soon as I got the phone, I popped my SIM card in. I quickly changed that home screen grid size to 5x5, enabled dark mode, and put in my biometrics for fingerprints and face recognition. My main complaint with the Samsung Galaxy A70, a higher tier but still very affordable phone, was that the on-screen scanner was just not that fast. Well, they've improved that phone scanner now through a software update, but face recognition unlock is still my preferred biometric. With this phone, the A20s, I've been very pleased with both its physical rear scanner and the face unlock speed. Once unlocked, the first thing you notice is this beautiful 6.5-inch display. It's IPS, not AMOLED, and my only 2 complaints about that are that the viewing angles are not as good as AMOLED, and also the panel is not as bright as the A70 or the Galaxy S series phones. That being said, the saturation is on point. Samsung could have cut corners with the phone being under $200, whether that would have looked like a thick top bezel like the Pixel 4 or an undersaturated panel. I sure am glad they did not go that route. When it comes to the device's connectivity, we have good 4G LTE bands. I tried it on a few different carriers, no problem with call quality or data reception. Being a dual SIM phone, this is a great option for those who travel often. A use case for this is if you want to have one international calling service plan and one for mobile data. As I mentioned earlier, this phone does have a headphone jack too, and when you enable Dolby Atmos in the software, you get quite an enhanced listening experience through earbuds or headphones. In terms of software additions, we do have a couple of Samsung's own built-in applications like the voice recorder and the radio, but nothing too bloated and crazy, and as I've said in previous Galaxy phone reviews, I love the revised version of the new Samsung One UI. It's just crazy to think about how far they've come from the water dropping noises in TouchWiz, which I know some of you guys liked, but One UI is sure to have everything you need without overcomplicating things. Before we talk about performance, battery life, the cameras, and everything else, I've got to touch on the build quality, because for this price point, you've got to have your own doubts and reservations. First of all, I have been really digging this red color scheme. From the painted plastic chassis to the shiny coated back, this looks awesome in person, and if red isn't for you, they do offer black and blue variants. Just like the Galaxy A70, if you do end up picking up this phone, I would recommend buying a clear TPU case. This way you can see that cool metallic shine, and you're not going to have fingerprints on it all the time because it is super prone to picking up oil and fingerprint marks. What saves this phone from feeling cheap in the hand is the heft from the battery and the components, which have good weight distribution. The volume and power buttons are also clicky and tactile, which is a big plus for build quality. With my phone usage, which is by the way not very light at all, I can end the day with 25 to 35% battery remaining. If I really wanted to conserve power and turn on some battery saving features, I could definitely get 2 full days of battery, but if you're gaming, expect to charge it up every single night. The 4000 mAh battery charges up surprisingly fast considering that wall adapter is only 2 amps. Let's get onto what you've probably been eagerly anticipating the whole time, the phone's performance day to day. So I can't speak on how well its predecessor performed, the original Galaxy A20, but the A20s is no slouch. It's packing Qualcomm's Snapdragon 450 chipset with the Adreno 506 graphics and 3GB of onboard RAM. Outside of gaming, I have no complaints, no app crashing, and overall performance has been comparable to a phone you would get for $500 or more just a couple years ago. When gaming, the A20s falls noticeably behind its higher tier counterparts in the A series lineup, so don't expect to max out game settings on FPS games, but my favorite game titles are still very playable. Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG, and Modern Strike Online are the games I play on these phones to test them out, and on low to medium settings, I was racking up my usual points in multiplayer servers with no problem. I do have to mention that the A20s is currently running Android 9 Pie. I'm expecting to see Samsung's One UI version 2 roll out onto the A series phones alongside Android 10 eventually. Now we're onto the cameras. So this is a breakdown of what each lens does. The top lens is a depth sensor at f2.2 and 5 megapixels. This is used for the portrait blur, or as Samsung calls it, live focus mode. The second lens down is the main 13 megapixel sensor with an aperture of f1.8. By default, the main lens is actually quite wide. I mean, personally, I prefer a bit of a narrower focal length for my smartphone photos. Its focal length is only outdone by the ultra-wide angle lens on the bottom, which has a 13mm focal length and is capable of taking 8 megapixel stills. The front selfie camera again is 8 megapixels, but with an aperture of f2.0, and the software processing for selfies just ain't great, but it gets the pass. The cameras on here are clearly nowhere as good as what you'd expect from the higher end tier Galaxy A series phones, nowhere close to the Galaxy S series or the Note phones, but this is a compromise that's worth making for all the other features if you don't value smartphone photography to a great extent. We have all the basics in the camera app that you'd find on a higher end Samsung phone, but sharpness, color accuracy, and importantly, video stabilization are not this phone's strong suit. All these factors combined make the A20s video performance hardly usable, and outside of this review, I'll probably never again post a video taken on this phone. But for photos, they're actually quite savable. If you put them into Adobe Lightroom or ViscoCam and put on a few filters and touch it up a bit, it actually would be postable. I went onto Instagram on my stories and posted a photo of snow and trees. You can actually check it out on my Instagram tech highlights if you want to see a better resolution photo. For me, the camera is the deal breaker. I really just can't use this as my primary phone, but I will be using it as a secondary device, switching between this and my other Android phones. If you like the features of this phone but aren't too impressed with the photo samples, I'd recommend watching my review of the Galaxy A70. That device is a few tiers higher, it's still very affordable, and my video review has something like almost 5,000 likes, so you know I put a lot of work and time into that one as well. By the way, I'd appreciate if you guys would let me know what length should I keep these videos to. Should I keep them concise, or should I go even more in depth with reviews of products like this? I do answer all of my questions in the comment section, so if you're still wondering something about the A20s or an entirely different product from videos ago, go ahead and drop that in the comments down below. I will hit you back with a reply. I'm excited for what's going to happen in December with the upload schedule and January. If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next one.